I trying to say? As I mean, that's what I would do.
Really?
Well, yeah, you don't want to get infected. Your character, to me, seems like the level.
It's true. There's no time for politeness and common decency when you've already duct taped the door.
No.
No, all these characters too are like, you know, they're flawed. They're not the most decent human beings.
Yeah. And then they also want to survive.
And they want to survive.
So what would you do in this scenario? I mean, did you know, in terms of characters, is the character that you play like the one? Does she fit the mold of what you think you would do should this kind of scenario
arise? So many people ask me that, and it's so hard. I actually think I would kind of be like her in the way that she, up until the end, where she's so does not want to face the reality. Like she's looking for her Adderall. She's dwelling on her dating life, like totally in denial and distracting herself with mundane stuff, so that she doesn't have to face the reality of. It's something that's like hard to understand too, to wrap your head around there for a good amount of time and work with locals and get a real feel beyond what it's like being a tourist. Interestingly enough, it was Ramadan when I was there. Just thought I'd add that. And Matt Damon is great. He's such a thoughtful, hard-working guy, and also manages to have a lot of fun with his life and his career.
Thanks.
Have you seen the new Bourne movie?
I have.
Are you a fan?
It's different, but it's different and similar in ways. You know, I enjoyed watching it. Sure.
Anybody else have a question?
Raise your hand, we'll come on over to you.
Every time I turn my head this way, I hear clickety click 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 click. Like the shutter speed goes rapidly faster. So when I do this, it's okay. When I do this, it's like
No.
Second row, right here.
Second row.
Hello, would you rather work in Hollywood films or independent?
Oh, you mean studio films versus independent? Like I said, it doesn't really matter. It's much more about for me, it like really comes down to the script, and if I would go and see that movie, if I feel like I can contribute something, and the director, or I guess I should say who's in charge, creatively, but they're just, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, studio films are guaranteed to come out in theaters, but something, you know, they have their own sense of pros and cons. Independent films like this one, it's a much tighter knit group of people making it, and you have worse catering, but that's okay. There's something really special about this movie where we didn't have money for trailers, so we would all get changed and like have our break time at a house across the street from where we were shooting. And it turned out to be this wonderful thing where we were just all hanging out all day long instead of going and isolating ourselves in these Winnebagos. And I made some really good friends, you know, as a result of not having enough money in the budget. But with a studio film, you know, if it's something that you can be proud of, then it's nice to see it come out and have a real like, campaign and push for it. They're just different. They're just different animals. There are roles that I've turned down. There are roles that I didn't get. But I don't have any regrets about either of those scenarios because I always feel like that aside from the fact that I still like to believe that things happen for a reason, I can always see with casting like somebody else fits in that part better. Or like there was a reason, like if I turn something down, it's usually because I don't feel like I can contribute more than anybody else could. What was the other question? Oh, and why?
And why would you turn down a role? Like, have you been offered scripts and you've gone, no way, I don't want to do that role? And is there like something that keeps coming back to you that you go, no, I don't want to do that?
It's usually if I feel like I can't connect to it or I can't contribute something, or if it's not exciting, if I don't like, I usually go for the things that I think would be scary to do. Except for It's a Disaster, which just looked like a lot of fun.
Next question, second row.
Budget like a studio film would.
Well, I mean, you make a good point, which is that, especially a movie like It's a Disaster, it's got a very specific kind of sense of humor and maybe a niche audience, and so they've been able to use social media in order to help it build an audience. And that's really positive. It's almost like what happened with the music industry, where like now bands that normally could never get a record deal can get their music out there and find an audience, which is wonderful. And in terms of like, yeah, I don't feel any pressure. It's encouraged to like promote something, but it's sort of if you want to or not. Although I've heard that there are like sometimes like on TV shows people have in their contracts that they have to tweet a certain amount. But I don't know if that's true. I haven't experienced.
Contracts?
That's what I've heard.
Wow. I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Our last question's all the way in the back